Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Stinchfield. So many of you are rightly concerned about Joe Biden and his continuing quest to destroy America. I know you're concerned about the Democrats and their devious lengths that they will go to cancel conservatives. There's the media, of course, that actively try to dupe you into believing less freedom and control over your own lives is a good thing. It's not, by the way. But I want you to add this to the list of things to be concerned about. What may be one of the most dangerous threats we face as conservatives. It comes from within. Trump supporters are the victims of a disgraceful betrayal from far too many Republican leaders, first and foremost being Mitch McConnell, who basically called for President Trump to be locked up over the weekend.
Former President Trump's actions preceded the riot were a disgraceful dereliction of duty. We have a criminal justice system in this country. We have civil litigation. And former presidents are not immune from being accountable by either one.
Let me be clear about this. The dereliction of duty comes from Senator Mitch McConnell, but I am sure the big money, million-dollar Republican donors, the ones that never liked President Trump to begin with, are hailing McConnell as some kind of a hero. See, McConnell doesn't want the money spigot turned off, but the problem is his overarching allegiance to Trump-hating party elites and the almighty dollar. That's his big problem. Mitch McConnell doesn't speak for the populace. He speaks for him and those party elites, while Mitch McConnell purges himself publicly of all the hateful things that he wanted to say about the president. The real Republicans, like you and me, are also speaking out with our pocketbooks. In January, the campaign arm of the Senate GOP raised $8.3 million. Half of it came from online donations, an average of which was just $32. Those are Trump supporters offering up that money. More proof, President Trump and his Make America Great Again pack of 74 million voters are still in control of the Republican Party, no matter what Mitch McConnell and his party elites think. And as for the impeachment trial itself, the Democrats weaponized it. Instead of embracing it, Mitch McConnell should have called it out like Lindsey Graham did yesterday.
I don't know how Kamala Harris doesn't get impeached if the Republicans take over the House, because she actually bailed out rioters, and one of the rioters went back to the streets and broke somebody's head open. So we've opened Pandora's box here, and I'm sad for the country.
Well, I am too. But we never get to 2022 if we don't talk about election fraud and engineering. As for the fraud, I believe there was plenty. But I'm still waiting for any meaningful investigation from law enforcement to prove my suspicions. But more importantly, we need to talk about election engineering and the law, specifically the use of mail-in ballots and drop boxes. The ease of voting, okay? Here is the stark reality. The easier we make it for lazy Americans with little commitment to this country, the harder it will be for us to ever win an election again. Elections used to be a battle of the most passionate from each party. Who could turn out the most voters? Who felt the most compelled to take time out of their day to go to the polls and vote? By and large, from both parties. The people that do that have the greatest love of this nation and were willing to sacrifice their time and their energy to make a difference with their vote. Mail-in ballots neutralized those committed voters. Sadly, there are far too many lazy, unengaged Americans in this country than there are engaged, okay? The Democrats know this. I'm talking about people that actually want the free stuff from government. They want the handouts. They want to be told what to do. It's the easy way out in life. The same people that would rather be mesmerized by the Kardashians or Entertainment Tonight than they would watch Stinchfield or Greg Kelly reports. The Democrats' quest is to put a ballot in every one of their hands, to allow them to vote from their couch. So if this mail-in ballot scheme is allowed to continue, we will be overwhelmed by the numbers, and we will never win an election again. So Mitch McConnell better get on board with trying to figure out a way to neutralize the mail-in ballot scheme and stop trying to neutralize the Make America Great Again faction of his party, okay? Joining me now is Republican Congressman of North Carolina, Dan Bishop. Congressman, I want to welcome you to the program. Thanks for coming on tonight.
Thank you, Grant. I'm enjoying hearing you. You're hitting the nail on the head in so many respects.
How angry are you with Mitch McConnell?
You know, Grant, what the American people love about President Trump is in him, they finally found an ally. Someone who was tough as nails, is tough as nails, and would fight every day in office for them, not the big donors, not the establishment, not the lobbyists, not big tech, big pharma, on and on and on, but for them. And what, with all respect, Mitch McConnell desperately needs to figure out is that the American people are now going to be looking for candidates like him, candidates who will put them first. And so he will, you know, and those are the kinds of candidates I anticipate President Trump will back. And Senator McConnell ought to expect to embrace them, because objecting to them or resisting them he will do to his peril.
Well, I'm already seeing reports out of Washington that Mitch McConnell says he's going to actively work against any Trump-inspired candidate, I guess for an establishment Republican-style candidate. What is it, do you think, about Mitch McConnell that he just can't embrace the populace here, Congressman?
Well, I think that's exactly it. You know, Senator McConnell should look at the last 4 years and then should look at the 8 years before that and get a sense of what's been different. President Trump brought an extraordinary energy and fight to the office of the president, been the best president, most effective Republican president of my lifetime. And Senator McConnell should want other leaders like that will also fight for the American people. And so you know, I can't really speak what's in Senator McConnell's mind, but the establishment really does, for the sake of the Republican Party, for the sake of all the people out there who know the right way to go, he's got to embrace candidates like that and those that President Trump will support.
Yeah, he ought to look at just the last 3 weeks and what happens when you get a candidate like Joe Biden in. We could go on and on about that. I want to ask you about this 9/11 style commission that Nancy Pelosi says that she's going to put together to investigate what happened on January 6th. Everybody has denounced what happened on January 6th. Your colleagues, Jim Jordan, Devin Nunes, have sent letters back to Nancy Pelosi saying, hey, what's your involvement, Madam Speaker? You turned down the National Guard on January 4th. It took an hour or more to get approval to activate them on the 6th. What do you make of Jordan's response back to the Speaker's plans?
Well, I think Jim Jordan, with whom I serve on the Judiciary Committee, terrific member, great fighter, by the way, he's putting the questions where the questions need to be put. We need to know what Nancy Pelosi knew and what preparations she made and what actions she did specifically to see to it that in the light of in expectations of a big crowd in D.C., what sort of security she provided for the Capitol. Now, we don't know those answers. We need her to answer some questions. So a 9/11 type commission, I don't care what organization is set up to inquire. The question is whether the information is going to be provided by those who are in the know, and that would be Nancy Pelosi. So I say to Jim Jordan, to Devin Nunes, to Rodney Davis, to Jim Comer, who all sent that letter to her today, stay after it. We're all going to stay after it and see to it that she provides the answers.
Yeah, and the bottom line, Congressman, none of us want to see what happened on January 6th ever happen again, but I do think it's important we know what her involvement in, and she may be in for a rude awakening. Her own commission uncovers some wrongdoing on that front. Congressman Dan Bishop, I know you got a lot of other stuff going on in Washington, and I want to talk to you about some of that stuff, COVID-related too, as well. We're going to get you back on this program. I promise you to do it. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, Grant. Enjoyed being with you.